Welcome back, alchemists. This is Wealth Principle 32. We've been traveling through the 52 weeks to wealth for the last 3 years. Hands to camera if you've been with us for at least 3 years. Who's been here all the while? Awesome. What about 2 years? What about 2-year people? Awesome. 1 year. Who here is still just getting used to it? Less than a year, but they're loving it, having a blast. Awesome. The 52 weeks to wealth is designed to double your income and double your net worth. Normally, I'd be at my house and I'd have a stack of cash right here and I'd be throwing money at your face and I have my books. But today I'm traveling. I'm in Boston this week because I went to see a concert last night. Because the point is not to work, it's to generate income, which is what Wealth Principle 32 is. We've been traveling through the Wealth Principle. This is season 3. Wealth Principle 32 is the point is not to work, it's to generate income. This is such a powerful point that I made a shirt out of it. This is the shirt that gets the most attention. Now, I've experimented with this. Doreena's been there with me. We have the 100 millionaire shirt on Deeds. The names on Deeds is great when I'm in a real estate event. But this shirt, anywhere I go, people are interested because they see the big words: generate income, generate income. Hands can if you want to generate income. If that's the goal, double your income. Hands can if you want to do it with less work. So I won't have a PowerPoint today. I won't have really sexy slides. What I'm going to do is just go raw with the data on how to do this and how to generate income. If you haven't already read the book, Broke to a Quarter Million, then you're going to want to read the book. I've had complaints about this book. People tell me, oh, the book doesn't show a tactical step-by-step process on how to become a millionaire, which was not the point. The book is supposed to show you a process to become somebody who has $250,000. Because most people can't grasp the concept of $1 million if they've never made 100, if they've never had a 50,000 sitting in the bank. Getting that first 100,000 is super important. Getting that $250,000, who here knows once you got a $250,000, like you could just roll that. That's got to build some momentum for you, right? That $250,000 makes it a lot easier to roll, and the million is not too far away. In fact, if you're just doubling every year, which is what this community tends to do and aims at doing, if you're doubling every year, you're 2 years away from $1 million. If you've got a $250,000 stacked up, hence if you're doing that math already, you see it. $250,000 becomes $500,000 becomes $1 million. It's like, wow, it was easy. But that first $250,000 is what this book was all about. Now, you're not going to go in there and find checklists. Interesting, because Napoleon Hill doesn't provide checklists in his book either. What you're going to find is stories. And one of the stories is about one of the keys. And that key is listening. Who here has ever thought they were listening and discovered they were not listening? Has anybody ever had one of those moments where you thought you heard something, but then the information you received and the actions you took were the wrong actions because you misinterpreted? So listening goes beyond just hearing. It's understanding, actually having a grasp on what you're hearing, because we've heard all of the keys to success. Who here knows that somebody has dropped all of the information that I've given you over the last couple of years? Somebody's dropped that to you before. None of it's new, right? We've heard this, but we've misinterpreted it. The meaning of hard work, I discussed in Broke to a Quarter Million. I talk about the meaning of hard work, what it truly is. Because people say you got to be a hard worker to be successful. Who's heard this before? You got to work hard to get rich. You got to put in the grind, work hard. What I found is that if you're sweeping a broom in a warehouse and you're sweeping with all your might and you're putting all the effort, because I was there in the warehouse sweeping the broom, and my manager, all he wanted was the dock cleared of a pallet, one pallet off the dock, off the truck, and put it away where it belongs. He put that on the list with sweep and then thing off dock. Wrong order. I did not understand priorities at the time. And so I worked hard. I spent 4 hours sweeping the whole entire warehouse. And it takes 30 minutes to sweep the warehouse. But I wanted to do an extra good job because he only put 2 things on my list. Now he walks in 20 minutes before my shift is over, and that pallet is still on the dock. And now he's concerned that it's not going to get done. And he has a conversation with me. He says, hey, look, I gave you 2 things. This was the most important one. And I, trying to be a smart ass, or trying to literally not knowing, I was like, yeah, but you put it as the second thing on the list. And he said, yeah, because it was the bigger task. It was the thing that I knew was going to take more time. And so I said, get the little one out of the way and then go after the big one. Whereas what you did is you worked really hard on the little one and didn't leave yourself enough time to do the big task. Can't if you've ever been there before, you can relate to this story. You might be able to relate to it better than you think. Right now, if you're not already a millionaire, there's a good chance that you've been working on tasks that feel important. Perceived value has been put on these tasks because everybody else is doing them. Everybody else is focused on doing these tasks. But in truth, the task that'll get you to the next level might not be, certainly is not what everybody else is doing. The task that gets you to the next level is something that you would never have to do again. It's an asset acquisition. It's an asset either being built or acquired or paid for, but in some way, an asset is being brought over to your side of the table, of the equation. Hence, Karen, if you can grasp that assets, things that do things without you doing them, is what we're seeking right now. Most people do not seek assets. Most people seek a single paycheck, one form of income that comes from one person called a boss, and that's it. Whereas entrepreneurs, we've diversified the amount of streams of income we're coming from. We don't have one boss, we have many bosses. We have our clients, right? Our clients is our form of people we want to serve and get to the next level. When you're thinking about what you're doing every day, we want to hit it with that 80-20 principle. Is this going to lead me to the result that I'm seeking? Is this task that I'm doing right now, is this big enough chunk of time? Is this going to lead me to my result? Does this generate income? If it does not, if it's not a generate income generating task, then it's not something you want to be working on, especially if income is the goal. Every so often, I'll get a poor person will make a message on Facebook. Who's seen some of those recently? I made a post about being broke, and people were like, "Oh my God, you're evil. You're the devil. Like, why would you want people to be so focused on money?" It's not. I don't want everybody focused on money. I just want the people who don't have money focused on getting some money, right? And the people who already have a good base of money, I want you focused on getting a little bit more. And then once you've got a little more, I want you to automate it so you can go back to doing the things you're supposed to be doing. Now, here's the deal. You don't get to drop your family, right? Like Amy's, got her daughter right there. You hold the baby, right? Like, you don't stop doing the things you're doing. You don't stop being a great father, a great mother, a great husband, a great wife. You don't stop those things. What you do is improve while doing them very well, right? You get more efficient with the time. There are people who spend 4 hours just watching their child watch TV. Has anybody seen that before? Can imagine what I'm talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Seen that. And then there are people who set the child to watch the TV, get some work done, and then come over and teach their child or read the book to their child and teach that child how to make the A sound, right? Who's done that? Who's spent some time with their little ones, teaching them something, an asset that they'll have for life? Sounds, words, absolutely. Those things they remember. They do not remember the episode they watched with you of Barney or SpongeBob or Blue's Clues. What they remember are the things you taught them. And I was having this conversation with my dad yesterday, as Dorina was sharing things my father has taught me because I've said them to her. We were talking about food. It was, food is a fuel. My dad used to always say this to me, food is fuel. And then my father also said something super unique, super interesting. I think you've heard before. I think the coaches say it often, is that what you put into your mind is just as important as what you put into your body. The thoughts that you allow into your body, into your person, into your mind, that is more important because it's what's going to come out of you, right? It's going to be what motivates you, what energizes you. So this principle, we're going to do 4 actions today. We're going to do a experience together because we do this every single week. Because if we're doing action, we take action, then we get results. Right? Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings are a form of energy in motion, right? Emotions, energy in motion. Feelings lead to actions. Actions lead to results. It's the process of manifestation. So today we're going to do an action. We're going to write down some things. You can grab a piece of paper, put your name at the top, put the date, because I love having a date on my homework. That way I know there is a time delay on this. Just like in the recession-proof challenge, everything gets done that day. 24 hours. But if I were you, I'd just say, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That way you get it done faster. Once your name and date are at the top of this piece of paper, write down 1, 2, 3, 4 in consecutive numbers. We give space, 1 space for each one. The first one is income generating activities. What are activities that generate income? First I can think of human contact. Anything that involves human contact. Now, especially if that human contact is somebody who's likely to have a problem that you solve. Who here solves a problem? Anybody solve problems for other people yet? Entrepreneurs? Awesome. Income generating activities could be texting someone. It could be calling somebody. It could be meeting up for lunch with a client, right? Talking about business, doing a social media post in a group that draws in people into your business. These are income generating activities. Now, building that group is not an income generating activity. It's still something that has to get done. That's an asset. Does that make sense? That's one of the 80-20. That's an asset. That's something that you would have to acquire. Every day, you must do something that acquires an asset. Every day, you must build an asset, but that asset will not generate income unless you have something to start the motor, to prime the pump. Your income generating tasks are things that you want to automate first. They're things that you want to automate well. You want to build out how to generate income, and then you want to scale out. You want to get that more and more and more. So your lead generation, you're building relationships with clients. This is why we focus so heavily in Alchemist Connect. We're talking about the recession-proof challenge on reaching out and automating the conversations to reach out. First contact. Hey, how are you? Texting a stranger you've never met before. Hey, how are you? Does anybody get a little anxiety around that? Seeing that? Can you imagine how somebody would? Those are the things we automate. If there's an emotional blockage, then that means it's going to stop everything else down the road, right? The action part, the result part. So we get rid of the emotional blocks using a CRM. Alchemist Connect happens to be the one that we use, and you get a first text. Now the responses are us. That's me, it's my team, it's Amy, it's Dorina, it's Feli, it's anybody who's sitting in front of the computer at that time. That's the team. That's actually us. But the first contact is emotional. That first contact is generating income, right? The point is not to work, it's to generate income. Remember, we're automating everything. So for number one, write down something, your one thing that generates income, your best income generating activity. Is it text? For me, it's always been text. Who here has received a text from me? When I was focused on older people, when I was focused on motivated sellers, calling had to be my option because they didn't text. Number two, 80-20 and action steps. So 80-20, what is it that is not working in my time? Like look at your time and scrutinize it. Does it generate income? Generating income. I spend focused on my business, on growing my business. 4 of the other hours, like 12 hours, say you're awake for 16 hours, you get 24 hours a day, 8 hours of sleeping. 4 of those, you're actually enjoying the other 8. Do something to motivate yourself to go do that other 8, right? So I spent 8 hours changing the world, impacting, 4 hours enjoying myself. Number 3, how do I get a raise today? How do I get a raise today? Write it down. One way to get a raise is to install a new partnership. It could be bringing in a new stream of income. It could be a new connection with more leads. No matter what, it's consistent, right? You've never had a boss go and take money back after they've given you a raise. And if you recognize a raise is permanent, it's there forever. So for us in the real estate space, we go and we get more tenants, right? That's a raise. I just acquire more units, that gives me a raise. Or I can raise my rent. That also gives me a raise. Or I can decrease one of the expenses of one of my buildings. That would also equate to me getting more money in. I can do a flip. If I add doing a flip per year into my system, that's a raise. Every year, as long as I'm consistent with doing one flip, that's a raise I see throughout the rest of the year. So write down on number 3, what is the one raise that you go after, the most easy raise that you go after today? What is one raise you go after today? Something that's going to generate income beyond for a long period of time. Number 4, write this down. When you think you're listening, stop and listen. And when I say think you're listening, what I'm talking about is a person can be sitting there telling you stuff, but you're not getting it, right? Like they're getting frustrated. They're saying the words to you, hey, listen to what I'm saying. And when you, I am listening, that's the trigger right there. They might not be listening as hard as you think you are. Hands can if you know what I'm talking about now. Like that space of listen a little deeper. Write down a time that you could use some skill around that listening a little bit better. Doug McGurk, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Brother. So the week is broke to $250,000.
All right. So welcome everyone. Dorina, you going to do the review?
I can do the review. Broke to $250,000. Obviously, the name speaks for itself. It's a story about a person who was mentally broke, who was defeated, who was thinking that the life is over, taking over the decision of making something important out of him. And it's a story about someone growing up poor with the dreams and aspirations and not knowing how to get it, figuring out the way how to get the good life and share it with others. So in this book, you will find like a true life story where Walter Amorella is getting his first house, trying to be a good husband, unfortunately getting through divorce. And then, like the rock bottom, it was real for him. He was worth less than he was born with. He was in huge debt, and there was a moment in his life where he describes it very well, where really he was speaking to God and asking for like, hey, please show me the way, and if I can find the way to get out of it and become successful, I will promise to teach others how to do it. And it was just like a light bulb that he could own real estate, he could own the blog, and he was going after it. And after he did it, what is he doing now? He's teaching us to do the same. 2-hour, 3-hour book that will inspire you to get out of your mental situation if you're struggling and go after your dream, because it's possible. If it was possible for him, it's possible for you. And it's on Audible too. So go read it. If you didn't read it, or if you read it, do it again.
52 weeks of wealth. Our goal is to double your income, double your net worth. The reason we do it is because at some point we didn't have it. So if you haven't read the book, go listen to it. In fact, if you haven't listened to it, if you're a reader, hand scam if you read the book and didn't listen to the audio. Is there anybody? You're going to want to go and listen to the audio. There is an entire
extra chapter in the audio version, a chapter that I intend to add next year in our revised version of the physical book, because I got a lot of feedback over the years before I did the audio. And people said, hey, what are the foundational 5? Who noticed that I didn't put the foundational 5 in the book, but I talked about them? Did anybody notice that? So the foundational 5 books, I put that in the audio, and I went on for about 18 minutes. I answered a lot of the questions that I've been getting over the years. So if you haven't listened to the audio, go check it out. It's really good. I do it myself. I do speak in the audio for 6 hours. It took me to record it, but it's only a 2.5-hour audio. So we want to open it up to questions, comments, shares. The 100 Millionaire Summit is getting closer. We're 41 days away. We got Mitch is on the call. Before we bring Mitch in, Doug, can you share a little bit about what we're doing at the 100 Millionaire Summit this year? What makes it so unique, and why you specifically, what your skills are, so that everybody understands like just how much fun we're actually going to have and what we're actually going to be doing there.
So it's not just about the people on stage, it's about the people in the audience, that they are participating and enrolled and engaged, rather than just being passive participants, just like, okay, I'm going to listen and take some notes and that'll be that. No, we're going to make it experiential so that it gets in your nervous system. And some of you may or may not know, also after working in the music industry, I went on the road with Tony Robbins for about 4 years, and I'm trained by Tony. And so we're going to be bringing elements that what makes Tony such a great speaker, since I'm trained by Tony and all the people that trained Tony, we're going to infuse that into the 100 Millionaire Summit. And we promise that you will not only have incredible breakthroughs, make incredible connections, you will set a new standard of propulsion and momentum to your career.
It's not just about his energy. He's got amazing skills with helping you leverage your energy. Remember how I started this call? Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions, actions lead to results. Without feelings, without a burning desire, a passion around what you're doing, all of the knowledge you receive is useless. You must have a reason to do things, and Doug's going to help you tap deeper into that emotion. We wrote the books, we did the blogs, we put the information out there. We said, hey, here's how you get rich. Nothing happened. Who here knows? The information's been out there for years. It's everywhere. It's all over the internet. We're in the information age. If you can't figure out how to get rich, it's not the figuring out that's the problem. It's the drive. It's the motivation. It's that energy. It's that heart to get you out of bed to go and do the things that you don't want to do. Who's noticed that's the challenge, right? Like, you know the right steps, you know the right things. We've been sharing that, but getting people to do those right things means they must have drive. They must have motivation. They must have a reason, a purpose, a passion. And I see some of you got your kids on the camera right now. That in a lot of ways can be your purpose, your passion, your drive, the reason you get up out of bed. We're going to figure out how far that charge can go, how much we can open that valve just a little bit more. Who knows, if you're already a massive flame, just a little tweak means an even bigger fire. We're going to unlock so much more potential out of you. And for those of you who are like, yeah, I've got the gas turned off, right? It's completely off. We're going to break the seal. We're going to break the valve, break the seal, turn it up, and get it so you can start cranking without having that restrictor on anymore. So we've got the man, the myth, the legend, the great Mitch Durfee on the call with us. Let's give Mitch Durfee a big round of applause. He wrote the book, Serve to Win. He's written multiple books and multiple best-selling author, the great Mitch Durfee. Let's bring him on.
I appreciate you. Thank you. You know, all those things are different ventures and different vehicles, right? They say the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. I definitely like to have at least that, you know, just keeping cash flowing, right? I'm really excited about this event. As you know, like last year was amazing, especially like when you check in with the people that came to the last year's event, which is actually one of the things that I love the most, is like hearing about all the success stories of the people that went to that event, and like how they were able to connect with people there and like start to, you know, partner up on deals, and how they were able to just kind of like bring it all together. So I'm really excited to see like the relationships that are going to be built this next year's event, and what happens for those people going forward too.
Hell yeah. Hey, Mitch, we don't have you out there just as you know, hey, I'm really rich. Like, here's a couple of things. We got you out here for a very specific reason. There's one thing that I found that millionaires need to level up, like rocket fuel, like the emotions. Like, once you got emotions, you got knowledge. Like, there's a tool out there that exists. It's something called credit. Who's heard of this before? Who's heard of credit?
Sure.
Yes.
1,000,000%, man. You know, definitely at this event, that's one thing I want to share with a lot of people is, you know, the power of credit, right? Like, credit allows you to hire more people, how to scale up your business. It makes lenders more comfortable with you when you're trying to get financing or take down a deal. It makes investment partners more comfortable with you when you have this credit. I definitely wouldn't be able to do any of the things that I've been able to accomplish over the years without using credit. So yeah, at this event, I definitely want to share a couple strategies with you, with all the members that are going, because again, like if you can get your hands on a couple $100,000 with a business credit or just credit in general, it's going to change your life and your ability to invest. And like you said, that rocket fuel for you to kind of get to the next level.
He actually earns $30,000 a year passively from a course that he built on this. His course is so good that he doesn't even teach it. He doesn't have to teach it in person. People pay for the recordings. They pay for the recordings. They love the recordings so much that he's actually been able to turn that into a passive business. And so he's going to be sharing the exact steps that people are getting so much value at, because it's not just people buying it. People are referring their friends to this course. They're sending people to it. It's something that it's an asset. Can you share some of the stuff you did without credit and then why it's so much, like, it just makes so much sense to actually learn this?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I first started off, I was in the army, and I saw a lot of friends back then, leveraging credit and using it the wrong way. And I think they had a bad feeling when it came to credit. And I think some people out there still have that negative connotation when it comes to credit. But dude, when my vehicle broke down and I couldn't afford to fix it and I had to get a loan to get it, like I was either without a vehicle or I had credit. Like I had one option or the other, no vehicle, or I had to get a credit card to be able to pay for it. Right? Like having that emergency fund at the very least is something that's extremely, extremely powerful, right? It takes the edge off. Like you make those investments in yourself, you really take care of it, and it's going to nurture, it's going to grow. So yeah, there's definitely something to be said about, investing in yourself. A lot of the coaches on here probably spent over $100,000 on coaching and personal development and training. And, those investments are definitely going to pay you the best dividends over your lifetime.
Let's give Mitch Durfee a big round of applause. And don't worry, if you don't have credit yet, that's our goal. We want to get you that credit. We want to show you the process. If you don't have business credit, that is really what Mitch is going to be talking about at the summit. They're going to be going deeper into the value of business credit versus personal credit. And I want to open it up to questions. So let's open up, bring everybody into the room. Even if you're not somebody who's in one of our programs, we're going to bring it in so you can ask questions. So this is a chance to unmute the mic and either give a share or ask either myself or one of the millionaire coaches a question. People who take action, AKA unmute the mic, are usually the first ones who get to go and say something.
Because of this community, I've been experiencing the opportunity to flip. And while I was sitting here, my agent just texted me and said, we got an offer. So I just wanted to share that on my first flip. It took a long time, lots of road, bumps in the road. I wouldn't even mind sharing with you guys to help, inspire people to just go do it. Doesn't matter. Get it done.
I also wanted to say, just to share that I've been working with Andrew, brainstorming, and Blake. He's awesome. Had a 3-hour conversation with Blake earlier this week. He has a useful amount of information that's very beneficial, but I'm definitely looking forward to finding a private lender to move forward and be able to put in offers, because I have talking to Andrew about that just yesterday, and that's where I'm a little stuck at.
We actually own our own lending company now. It's called Alchemist Financial. You can go to alchemistfinancial.com, or you can shoot Frank Montero in the community a message on either Alchemist Nation or on the Facebook group. We can do all the private lending. We got you. That was one of the challenges that we had earlier in our investment career was, finding the money. So we ended up finding, Frank went out and he found all these different underwriters. We have over 75 underwriters. So any deal, you name it, we can find a way to finance it.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much for that information and that support.
Hey, when you have a choice, always work with the best. Let's give Yolanda a big round of applause. Chong, you're up, brother.
Hey, I feel so blessed to be part of this community. When I coach people and they say, hey, I want to be like stupid fast or professional, they don't know how much work it takes. And what I see here is you've done pretty much all the hard work. People just got to show up and just do it. The resources are there, the people's there, the energy, the culture's there. So my goal is when I'm in Florida, I'm going to try to take a picture with everybody on your panel and try to go out to lunch or whatever with a couple of you folks, because I need to start getting more in your inner circle. I'm not a millionaire yet, so I can't pay for the VIP and the executive, whatever. But once I get them, I'm going to pay it back, pay it forward. But I'm going to be very intentional about everything I do here up to that point, so I can get closer with you guys.
Let's give Chong a big round of applause. For everybody who doesn't know, he has a tech background. He's been diving into Alchemist Connect. He's been crushing it in the Recession Proof Challenge. Like, what I found with Chong is his mindset is just give me the information, I will take the action. He's got this kind of commitment. Same with Deborah Felder, another person who really interacts on the calls. They understand the value of doing. They understand the value of action. They understand the value of connecting with each other. Did you hear what he said? He said, I see Heidi Rain just jumped in. Who here knows they self-sabotage now and then? Maybe are the cause of their own maybe lack of success. It could be, within. So she's going to help us out with that. Brian, I saw your hand go up, brother.
The importance of protecting our credit. I mean, I know I feel like bend over backwards to make sure I make my payments, so I don't have a late payment on anything ever, whether it's like selling anything, I get rid of stuff. It generates a lot of stress because I'm afraid to I don't want to ever have a late payment or lower my credit score. Am I doing that to myself unnecessarily? Or if you have a blemish here and there, it's okay and it can be fixed?
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're making those minimum payments at the very least, because late payments can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. So it's definitely important to stay focused on that. I mean, one of the other options is doing a balance transfer, right? If you need to move it around, but definitely make sure you're making those minimum payments.
Yeah, so I know I rearrange my life to make sure I never ruin my credit score.
I agree 110,000 times percent. I've never, ever missed a payment. I've been broke. I've had minimum payments of $4,000 a month, but I've always hit those minimum payments. When we brought Heidi in to speak at the summit last year, I knew she was good, right? But I knew she was great because obviously I trust Doug's opinion. I've seen a couple of her YouTube videos and I was like, this woman knows how to talk. She knows how to speak. She knows how to speak to your heart, to your mind, to make the connection. So let's give Heidi Rain a big round of applause. Heidi, what do you think causes a person to allow self-sabotage to go on through their lives when they obviously know it's happening?
I don't think they know what's happening. I don't think they're not calling it self-sabotage, or if they are, there's an element of, it's such an esoteric concept that people don't understand, you can break it down and understand exactly how you're doing it. So they either just don't know they're doing it, or they throw up their hands and they're like, well, I guess it's just the way that it is. It's just the way that I am. And so once they understand, it's very easy to figure out exactly the belief or the program that was installed in us at a very early age that is causing this self-sabotage loop. Once we understand that, you can only solve a problem to the level you understand it. If you don't, a doctor can only solve a problem if he properly diagnoses what that issue is. If you go to the doctor and you have a cough and he says, you have a cold, but you have cancer, you're in trouble, right? So when I work with people, it's about really not a Band-Aid on a flesh wound, like a positive affirmation, positively affirm your way into health and healing. It's ripping up the root lie. And so people are unconscious of what that root lie is. So they're just on autopilot. So my gift in the world is to be able to see that in people. I have that gift of discernment to be able to know and pinpoint, okay, this is exactly where you're stuck and where you're holding yourself back, and then systematically uproot that lie, one question, one intervention personally at a time. And so that people are really set free psychologically, emotionally, and financially, because the lie lives in every area of our lives, not just in one place.
I love that. I love that answer. Let's give Heidi a big round of applause. The 100 Millionaire Summit this year was designed for you. It was designed in a lot of ways by you, because every one of us who will be speaking at the stage was right where you're at today. We were there at some point. I have one talk that's very, very specialized. It's very unique to this room. And so this survey is going to give us a lot more. I just want to make sure that's done right. Hence, if you understand, the more information I have from you, the easier it is for me to provide the right information to our coaches. So as we're going through the room, we know who we're speaking to. We're having a conversation with entrepreneurs, with real estate investors, with business owners, and people who are still employed looking to get out of their job. If you're really looking to serve your clients, ask them questions. And if you're not sure whether you're serving your clients properly, ask them questions. And if you don't have any clients, start asking everybody questions until you can identify who your clients should be. Ask questions. The most dangerous question is the one you don't ask. If you have a question, find out. If you don't know who to talk to, ask who to talk to. If you don't know who has the answer, find out by asking. If you don't know what to do next, ask somebody who's done it before. Hence, can't recognize this is the secret to success. Ask. One of my friends, actually, I think he's the greatest author of all time. His name is Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. Who knows who that is? Mark Victor Hansen. So Mark was on my podcast a while back promoting his book, Ask. And that was literally the name of the book. And that was the principle of the book. Just ask whatever you want in life. It's great to think it. That thinking is great, and you should think, and you have to think in order to ask. But once you've thought, you've got to open your mouth and say, hey, this is what I want to create. Who's down to go with me? Right? We're on a mission to build 100 millionaires. We're inspired to build 100 millionaires. The only way we're going to do that is for you to decide to become a millionaire and to commit, make that commitment to, hey, once you get yours, be willing to give somebody else that same understanding, the empathy, the knowledge, and maybe that friendship that does help build millionaires. Knowledge alone will not do it. Knowledge alone cannot build millionaires. People have to get past the emotions. They have to feel like they're not alone in this. They have to feel like somebody else is there with them, caring about them, taking them along the way. And if you can establish that in yourself, then you can establish it in others. I appreciate each and every one of you, your commitment to yourself, this community, to your success, your family, and to make it a little more money this year. Remember, the point is not to work, it's to generate income. Each one of you is doing it in your own way. Also, I want to say, be patient with the process. Some of you get a little hard on yourselves. Look, yes, go harder. I want you to do the best you possibly can every day. Absolutely, yes. But don't try to do tomorrow's work today. Tomorrow will be there. And do tomorrow's work the right way, the best way that you possibly can. And if you make some mistakes, reach out to somebody in the community. We're here to support you. We want to see you get to the next level. So cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best. Let's give our coaches one big round of applause as we log off. I appreciate and I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much.